Hey there guys, this is Garrett with Command Z, and I'm here today to present a very important workshop at the conclusion of the first month of your training. So this workshop is called 100% Juice. Now what that means is 100% self-acceptance. No matter what's come before, no matter what additives or things you think you have that you need to get rid of, things you think you need to achieve, you keep your self-acceptance level at 100%, so it's always 100% juice. We're going to get deep with that in just a moment, but first I wanted to recap some of the things that you learned in the Simpleology workshop that you just took over the past month. Now hopefully you've been doing the face stretches, the shoulder exercises, the breathing, laying down, saying out loud everything you sense and feel with no voluntary movements, no interpretations, as well as the pelvis exercises and some of the others that were included, screaming into a pillow and whatnot. Now you can look forward to a lot more new exercises and advanced training over the course of your next month. Now the other thing I wanted to let you know is on this same page where you're seeing this video, this presentation, you can also find a link that will take you to the level 2 training, and if you subscribe from here, you'll see that the training goes down to $200 a month, which is a great reduction from the normal price. So you can lock that in for as long as you stay subscribed if you use the link right below the video on this page. We'll mention that again at the end, but the idea is if you subscribe for level 2 training, where you're going to get a bunch of full laydown sessions, video trainings, the emails that come along with it, and a lot more, a bunch of bonus material as well. Then you get that $200 a month. You'll be starting to do 1 to 2 sessions every week, and you save about $100 every single month by using the link on this page, so check that out. Now also in the Simpleology course we covered a whole bunch of material about how all the 3 different parts of the brain work together and also sometimes work against each other, not always in your best interest. Okay, the undoing work, some of what you've already started doing, like the face stretching, the shoulders, and the other exercises, are helping you to use the uniquely human part of your brain to communicate to these other parts. Okay, just so to start having a little bit more control over your emotions, a lot more frustration tolerance, and the ability to stick with your conscious intentions and to allow your unconscious mind to start receiving that communication and assisting you in accomplishing the things you want to accomplish. So today's workshop is very important, and that's why we're introducing it relatively early in your training, because without 100% self-acceptance, even the approach you make with the undoing work will stifle your progress, and you'll never get any kind of deep satisfaction without raising your self-acceptance to 100%. So this is basically the foundation for everything that's going to come next. Once you get that self-acceptance raised up to 100%, then things can be a lot easier for you. So the first idea, what is 100% juice? The basic premise here, the first key to it, is establishing bulletproof confidence. Now you might be thinking, how do I establish bulletproof confidence? Where does that really come from? What do I need to do to make that a reality rather than just an idea? And I'll tell you, that comes from, number one, realizing that true wealth, any true wealth that you'll ever have in your life, is composed of 100% self-acceptance first. Because then you'll trust yourself to be able to take actions in your own favor and toward getting what you really want, which ultimately is happiness, joy, satisfaction. Feeling a sense of acceptance and joy for every moment of your life, regardless of what the existential conditions are. Okay. Number 2 is a deep acceptance that you're not broken, that there's nothing wrong with you, and that you're not in need of healing. Okay. Getting those things out of the way, then your approach to this kind of work will yield you far greater results, and you'll actually notice the results because you're not hung up on the illusion that there could possibly be something wrong with you, or that you're broken, or that you need to be healed. Okay. So when you start that quest to become healed, you'll perceive yourself as broken until that quest ends. All right, so let's put a stop to that today and start fresh. Now, whether the whole world is against you or not, you know the only acceptance that it's truly possible to have is the acceptance you give yourself. It comes from within. All else is ephemeral. Other people who accept you can die, or they can do something you don't like, making your self-acceptance hung up on their approval of you. Okay, so all other types of acceptance are just ephemeral. They're an illusion. Acceptance from other people then allows you to accept yourself most of the time. But the idea here is you accept yourself first, and then you're not relying on that coming from other people. All right? And then finally, no matter what happens, stop accepting any metaphysical judgments about yourself or your life or reality in general. Now, especially from within your own mind. Anytime you're thinking of yourself as a bad person, or that you're inherently wrong, or that there's something wrong with you, you know you can just tell that to be quiet. Put that to rest. Get back to that state of grounded inner confidence. Okay, so that's the keys to putting together bulletproof confidence. Again, remembering true wealth is 100% self-acceptance. 2, acknowledging that you're not broken, you're not somehow wrong, and you're not in need of healing. Okay, when you accept those things, you'll start to realize when you're attempting to victimize yourself with your own mind, and you'll be able to step right outside of that. Then 3rd, whether or not the whole world is against you or behind you, your own self-acceptance is all that really matters. That's the only thing that can help you move forward in a real, tangible way. And then finally, no matter what happens, never accept metaphysical judgments about yourself, about your life, or about reality from anyone, and least of all from yourself. Drop the metaphysical judgments. When you notice they're coming up, examine them, take them apart, realize that they can only be lies. You have no foundation with which to make these types of metaphysical judgments, and then just set them aside. By practicing these 4 elements, you'll start to establish that bulletproof confidence, and then we can move on into even deeper self-acceptance. Okay, and that comes from once you realize you're already okay, and that it's not possible to be not okay. Once you've set that aside, you can start to focus on doing better than okay. So moving even further and deeper into your life, getting more enjoyment, laughing more of the time, having more fun. Now, the way you can do this, to start doing better than okay, is to first accept the presence of failure, accept the presence of mistakes in your life. They're going to happen. And in fact, the only way we learn, and the deepest way we learn, is through making mistakes. They always teach us better than our successes because, for example, if you recall in school doing a test, if there was an answer that you got wrong, and there was 1 or 2, let's say, that you got wrong, you'll remember those forever when you see what the correct answer was, simply because you had that shock of making the mistake and then realizing there was some other thing you needed to learn. Another example is with the undoing exercises. It's the nature of them, the way they work. When you start stretching your face, moving your shoulders up, at first you might be moving all fast like this, and what you want to do over time is learn, okay, that's a mistake. Now you move even more slowly. And you realize maybe you weren't breathing, so you start breathing. And just moving around really slow. So over time, you get better and better at the exercises, but you only know you're getting better by identifying the mistakes you're making and then making corrections. So you move from more error to less error with almost anything that you're learning. So you can be gentle with yourself in that process. Now also, all great inventions, something to consider is to think about science here and technology. All the greatest inventions, such as the light bulb, the internal combustion engine, were built on thousands and thousands, sometimes tens or hundreds of thousands of failures first. Most science is involving in disproving hypotheses until you finally arrive at something that works. Now the same goes for your life. Keep trying new things. Try again, practice, and practice until you get better and better. That's how you become expert at something. And then finally, something to think about when you're coming up with your goals and understanding why you're doing what you do, your pursuits. Make sure that each of those are inspiration-based, meaning the inspiration and motivation is coming from within you because you enjoy doing them, because they bring you some sense of satisfaction. Not doing them out of fear or to avoid fear, and not doing things just to make yourself okay. Because if you're doing things to make yourself okay, what you'll find is that you'll never get deep satisfaction out of anything you do or anything you achieve, because the fact is you're doing it to become okay, which will never happen. Because once you've asserted that it's possible to not be okay, that will always be in your mind. So again, we're going to eradicate the idea that it's possible to be not okay. From there, reestablish our outlook, reestablish what we want to be focusing our time on. Okay, so take a clear look at your life. Take a long, hard look at it. And start to remove the pursuits that you're doing that are just to make yourself okay or to gain the approval of other people. And refocus and start doing things based on what brings you actual joy, what you really want to be doing with your time and with your life. Okay? Now, the second thing we're going to cover is exactly how 100% juice, this concept of 100% juice. And I want you to remember that specific way of saying it, because you can say it in your mind, 100% juice. Or if you see it at the store or on a TV commercial, it will remind you to remember to fully accept yourself, no matter what happens, no matter what you do, and no matter what you've done. 100% self-acceptance is your key to further stages of the undoing process. This is where you start to transform your life from drudgery, from survival, into something that's more like an awesome adventure. Okay? So when you're no longer tying up your survival and your acceptance with your actions, judgment of your actions, fear of failure will disappear. Now at that point, life becomes an adventure instead of a fearful struggle. Without 100% juice, without this 100% self-acceptance, all your efforts to change aren't going to matter. They won't amount to anything, because you'll never feel good. And you'll believe that you don't deserve to feel satisfied. Now, an interesting quote comes from George Kappas. He's the owner and CEO at Hypnosis Motivation Institute in California. And he said, "You don't get what you deserve, you get what you ask for." Okay, and then also the great Dr. Hyatt said that 100% self-acceptance is the great secret of the ancients, how they were able to achieve so much, how they were able to gain so much knowledge and experience was through 100% self-acceptance. So they weren't spending their lives chasing acceptance from other people, chasing approval, and fighting their own inner demons, their own inner critics constantly, and being prevented from doing what they wanted to do. Okay? Now, when you operate with full self-acceptance, other people cannot control you any longer with guilt or with shame. And then finally, you're much less susceptible to persuasion. Once you're the one accepting yourself, you won't be doing things for the acceptance of other people, which means it will make it much harder for them to control you. You'll only enter into deals and experiences that you want to enter into. You'll only be playing games that you want to play, where you can come out as the winner or create a win-win situation with yourself and others, rather than being manipulated through the promise of acceptance or through the fear of survival. Okay, now why do I say the fear of survival? It's because we get survival anxiety when we start to feel rejected by other people. Now that comes from when we were running around as cavemen, and if you happen to get rejected by your clan or by your band of people, you might die. And in fact, it was likely that you'd die because you weren't able to get everything you needed without the help of the other people. So now we don't live in that way any longer, although we still feel that survival anxiety. And that's why it's so important to get that sense of 100% juice, that sense of self-acceptance that comes from within, that sense of inspiration, and then running with it, running for it, regardless of who may be against you or who may be behind you. Okay? You go forward no matter what. Now, an interesting thing that happens is that religion and politics will start to lose their hold on you, that toxic sort of moralistic hold where you get focused on issues that aren't really important in your life, about things that you can't verify that are going on or not. And it frees you up to start living your life as you see fit. You start to define what's your morality. What does that mean to you? Do you even need one? How do you determine your own ethics? How do you want to operate in the places where you live, where you do business, and so on. So you can start establishing your own center of control for your own life. and disregarding most of the influence of politics and religion. And again, that comes from that deep sense of self-acceptance, and then also that embracing what you truly want to do with your life. Okay, not needing to be told what to do by these other authority figures or supposed authority figures. Instead, you become the authority figure in your own life. And then finally, when you're not worried about what other people think of you, accept pragmatically. Okay, if you have a business situation, a class situation, or anything involving other people, you're going to have to think about it, but pragmatically so. Your mind will become free of over 99% of your current worries. Again, when you're not worried about what other people might think of you, about your appearance, about what you've done, or how people might judge you, your mind will be free of worries. So that's something you can help to look forward to and something you can start creating. And some of this will come about through doing the undoing exercises themselves. Now finally, we have 10 ways to get to 100% juice, to establish this 100% self-acceptance in your life. Now there are many paths to get you there, and everything in Maud's way, which I'll explain in more detail, tends toward 100% juice. Now that's something we explain in great detail in the Hypnosis and Undoing workshop, which you can also find for $100 off if you use the code below. So take a look at that. You get a couple sessions, some hypnosis sessions, plus 4 complete workshops on hypnotherapy, how you can use the tools of hypnosis with your undoing process. Very exciting stuff. And in there we get deep with Maud's Way. The basic premise in Maud's Way is it's an acronym, MAUDES. And I used that to refer to the woman Maud in the movie Harold and Maude, which if you haven't seen it, it's an excellent movie. You're watching someone, the character Maud, who has 100% self-acceptance and then acceptance of life. And she teaches Harold how to have that. So it's a great film. Check it out. The acronym stands for, the M stands for the mental bank, which is a type of programming of your unconscious mind you do each night before you go to bed. It takes about 5 minutes. If you want to learn it right now, click the link below for the mental bank video. You can learn that for free through HMI. We also cover that in a little bit different form in the Hypnosis and Undoing workshop. The A stands for the 3 A's, which are action, adventure, and autolysis. Now, autolysis is a very specific writing process. You can read about it in great detail in Jed McKenna's books, Spiritual Enlightenment, The Damnedest Thing, and then Spiritually Incorrect Enlightenment. So take a look at those if you want to explore the autolysis process in more detail. But all it really means is 100% honest writing. Trying to find out what you know for sure with 100% certainty, and then picking it apart with your writing. This will help you get rid of a lot of programming and a lot of those metaphysical damnation type of ideas you may have installed about yourself. The other 2 A's, action and adventure. Action means always be doing something toward what you want, taking action based on your own internal motivation and inspiration. And finally, adventure means like go out for a hike, take a bike ride, drive a different way to work, do things in a way where you don't always know how it's going to come out. Go have new experiences, okay? So keep those up every single day. The U, of course, stands for undoing, so do the exercises, do the sessions, keep up with your training. Then the D stands for dream work, which again we cover in great detail in the Hypnosis and Undoing workshop, a form of organic dream interpretation. So when you have dreams, which when you're doing undoing will tend to bring up a lot more dreams, you can use this organic dream analysis process to receive that communication clearly and literally from your unconscious, and then learn what to do to take the next step toward growth and toward evolution in your own life. Now the E stands for evaluation, meaning take a look every week, see how you're doing. Check out your progress toward your measurable goals. And if you need to re-aim and then reground and establish yourself and keep taking action, then do so. So always be evaluating how things are going. And then the S at the end stands for self-hypnosis, which again we teach in great detail in the Hypnosis and Undoing workshop. If you have questions about that, just let me know. So that's Maud's Way. That will always aim you at 100% self-acceptance. It'll give you tools for communicating with your unconscious, which will make it much more apt to communicate with you in a gentle and kind way rather than in a brute and gross form if you're not paying attention. So the number one thing you can do toward this 100% juice formula is every morning when you wake up, do the morning vomit pages, the morning pages, where you write for 3 pages in the voice of your inner critic, and or spew any shit that you need to spew. So just write out anything, any kind of hateful stuff you have going on inside you, anything you want to just get out. Get it out on the paper. Once it's there, it loses its hold over you. So don't be afraid. Put this somewhere where no one else is going to see it. Maybe burn it when you're done. There's no need to even review it, but just write very thoroughly everything you need to get out. Go for at least 3 pages, which you'll find goes very quickly. Now, the second thing you can do on this way to 100% juice is every night before bed, write out this statement, the following statement in cursive. Now, I'll also type that up into the workshop page here for you. Each and every day, my self-acceptance starts and ends at 100%. When I notice internal damnation and judgment, I'll laugh, call it a liar, and take action toward what I really want. Again, every night before you go to bed, you're going to write this statement out in cursive for at least 30 days. Each and every day, my self-acceptance starts and ends at 100%. When I notice internal damnation or judgment, I'll laugh, call it a liar, and take action toward what I really want. Now, over time, this will program your unconscious mind to influence your precognitive dream state. And again, we get into all kinds of stuff about these different dream states in the Hypnosis and Undoing workshop. But the idea here is you're influencing the precognitive dream state, where your unconscious is predicting your future behavior. So by inserting this self-acceptance into that script, you're going to feel it more and more and more each day. So again, do that for at least 30 days, within the 5-10 minutes before you go to bed at night. When you finish writing that out, sign it at the end with your name. Again, write it all in cursive and sign it out at the end. We also do get into some handwriting analysis stuff, which you'll have an opportunity to have your own handwriting analyzed by a professional hypnotherapist as part of the workshop. So let me know if you're going to take it. We'll get you all set up with those, with all that information. So again, remember, sign your name at the end of it. Number 3, get yourself a new journal. Some places there's some really cool personalized or homemade journals, or you can make your own out of an old book and put some new pages stitched into it. In any case, create a journal. On the cover, write 100% juice and use it to record your ideas, your organic inspiration, and motivations that you'd like to move forward on. Now, when you do identify these, write them down and write down some action steps, some steps you can take right away toward those things. When you do the action step, check it off. Also, record any experiences of self-doubt, any mistakes you make, or any self-punishment that you do in your mind, and then reframe these ideas. Again, write in cursive, in handwriting. Reframe the ideas in an empowering way. So work to understand how your mind is working. Work to understand why that inner critic says the things that it does. Okay, and try and pay attention to that. Make notes of these, but always spin it in a way that's in your favor in this 100% juice journal. Number 4, make a list of all the things you do in your life. Okay, try and make an exhaustive list. This may take a little bit of time. You can add to it each successive day. Then for each entry, write why you do that thing. Okay, why do you do that thing that you do in your life? If it's fear-based, then explore how you might accomplish that same thing, that same endpoint, in a more enjoyable way, or decide if you'd want to scrap that activity, get it out of your life. And once you've done so, just stop doing it. And once you write it out in this way, it should be much more clear to you, the things you're doing and how you can stop doing them, or replace the ones that will make you feel better. Next, number 5, clean and organize your space and your clothes, getting rid of anything that makes you feel bad about yourself, and highlighting or putting on the wall or showcasing things that deeply satisfy you or bring you joy or happiness. Now, while you do so, explore your space and your things as though it's the home and the possessions of a stranger, as if you've been hired to go through your own space, okay? Repeat this on a weekly basis, and you'll find it gets easier and easier and easier. After you clean the windows, clean the floors, go through everything thoroughly the first couple of weeks, each week you'll have less and less to do, and you'll start enjoying your space and yourself more and more and more. Number 6, notice your approach to the undoing exercises, your approach to every exercise, what's going on in your mind and how you're doing it. And also pay close attention to the noises of your internal critic while you're doing the undoing exercises or the full lay down sessions like you see in the deluxe training level 2. So one example of this, if you're doing the flop where you're standing up and letting your body flop over at the waist, you might find that you're forcing yourself down, you're being aggressive. Or you might find you're hesitating and lowering yourself down slowly. The idea here is to go in the middle of those and to let yourself simply flop over. So if you find you're being aggressive, you might also notice you're being aggressive in other areas of your life. If you find you're hesitating, however, then you'll find that you're hesitating in certain situations in your life, and you'll know that you can start to flow with them a little bit more easily by paying attention to how you're doing the undoing exercises. That will bring you insight into the ways that you're behaving in your life. When you notice the voice of your inner critic while you're doing the undoing exercises, I want you to tell it to shut up. Whenever it's necessary, just say, shut up. Say it out loud. Do the exercises slowly and steadily, and your slow, steady improvement is enough. The doing of the exercises is enough. Not worrying about whether you're getting it right, just slow and steady improvement over time. And remembering 100% juice. Respond to the inner critic with the words 100% juice. Just acknowledge that to yourself and move forward. Number 7, when anyone else attempts to judge you, pressure you, make you feel guilty or ashamed or embarrassed, just take a full breath in, and maybe you'll say to yourself, no one can judge me. I don't even judge me. Just smile, turn, and walk away. That's all it takes. Just smile and walk away. You don't need to accept judgment from anyone else. And then finally, just say 100% juice to yourself throughout the day. Just say it to yourself whenever you need to until it sticks. If you're at the grocery store, look at the juice, find something that says 100% juice and laugh when you see it. It's a great time. Number 9 is to use the laughing breath. Now, the way this works, I'll demonstrate it for you right here for the purposes of the workshop. You sit in a relaxed position, take a couple full breaths. And then finally, 5 full breaths of ha, 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 ha. Notice my whole body's getting into it. My belly, chest, neck, face. Ha, 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 ha. And we'll do one more together in the video. You do it alone, do 5 full breaths. Ha, 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 ha. Then you do 5 full breaths of he, 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 he. He, 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 he. He, 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 he. And then 5 full breaths of ha, he, ho, So get your whole body into it, just moving and laughing. And now I can feel it. I can feel all those endorphins rushing into my brain. The body feels better, feel more grounded, more here, more alive, more focused. There's all kinds of benefits from doing the laughing breath exercise. Now the 10th thing, the final thing on the 100% juice list, is to go out and do some things. Do a few things that are nice for people that you hate, for people you would never do anything nice for. Give $1 to the disgusting guy on the corner. Make a meal for someone that you haven't made a meal for. And then finally do nice things for people you do care about. Do something that's just for the sake of seeing someone else have a good time. Okay? The more you do those things, the more you'll automatically think of yourself in a positive way. and get to that real deep sense of 100% juice. So again, watch the workshop a few times. Make a list of anything that really sticks out to you, that really resonates with you, that you want to do in your life to bring yourself up to that 100% self-acceptance. Now the cool thing is you'll always notice when you're not there, okay? And when you're not there, just remind yourself 100% juice. Because without 100% juice, without that 100% self-acceptance, everything you do will only be to make you okay, which is impossible. So everything you do will be serving to remind you that you're not okay. Do you get it? Okay. No matter what's happening in your life, you have the potential to enjoy it. No matter what's going on around you, there's always something inspiring you can do. And no matter what else occurs in your life, you've always got the ability to laugh, to be strong, and to take action toward what you want. So remember that, 100% juice. And again, one more quick reminder. If you want to check out some of the tools we mentioned, get deep with self-hypnosis and with hypnosis tools to get your unconscious mind aligned with your conscious intentions, check out the Hypnosis and Undoing workshop. Save yourself $100. If you want to get deeper into the Radical Undoing training, check out the Deluxe Level 2 training, which includes tons of video sessions, all kinds of guided work, and a whole bunch of other things I think you'll really enjoy. Check that out. You can secure your spot for $100 off every single month by using the link below. Hope you enjoyed the workshop, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Enjoy.